Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc. So today's deck profile, we're taking the two best decks of the format and we're mashing them together to just create this crazy control powerful deck. It's debatable, right? Which one of these three decks is the best? Is it Magnamon? Is it Rapidmon? Or is it Vaccine Armors, right? So I think it'll have to wait until the format really opens up and we'll see how it goes. But this has kind of the best of both worlds. So in my mind, I feel like this might be potentially the best deck of the format. So we're going to go ahead and jump into this deck profile and break it down, see what we're doing, see what the focus is, and how we're going to win with it. All right, as always, I have the whole deck profile pulled up for you guys so you can follow along with this, kind of see what our overall thought process is for a lot of this. A lot of this might seem pretty cookie cutter in a sense. I feel like we're trying to take the most efficient cards that can go in this deck, and we're just kind of capitalizing on them, right? We're just doing a little bit of everything for all the like niche things that are out there and kind of moving with it here. We also have some cards here at the end that we're going to just be talking points as we kind of move through the deck. All right, so we'll do the card by card. First up, our main baby, of course, is Tokomon. At the core of this deck, the foundation, it is a Vaccine Angel deck, essentially, right? So we're doing a whole lot of the like evoing from Raising Area for free. We're trying to do that as much as possible. So the Tokomon, when a card is added to your security stack, draw one. We're not necessarily doing a lot of recovering, but we do in a sense because we're putting like our vaccine cards, you know, in the deck or back into security rather, or TK, as well as like our recoveries after we evo out of them and all that fun stuff. So Tokemon's still going to be really beneficial for us just for that early game draw. We're not as worried about late game draw. I feel like we're going to get our stuff early on and we're going to be pretty set and solid where we're at. But in the event you do want to run a fifth egg, I feel like the Upamon here, if you have 3 or fewer security cards when attacking draw 1, is always just a solid yellow card that you can just kind of fit in. We're not doing like any kind of crazy option, like a ton of option stuff, so I don't feel like anything like that's going to do us any good. The Kyaromon here, I think, is another great choice. Your turn, once per turn, when a card is removed from your security stack, one of your Digimon gains jamming for the turn. This is really good in, again, a Vaccine Angel sort of deck, because we're going to be, you know, evoing out of Raising Area and then adding cards back, preferably, hopefully. But yeah, the idea is the evo out of Raising Area for crazy reduced costs, and this will give some of your stuff jamming. Now, is that overly necessary? No, but as a one of fifth egg, it's not a bad choice, right? Especially in like all the mirror matches and things like that. I mean, expect to see a lot of the same DP running around as whatever you're running. All right, so let's get into the main Digimon of the deck. I'm still rocking the 4 Kudamon here. I think it's a great card for the deck. I don't know why you wouldn't. Reveal the top 3 cards of your deck with an on play. Reveal the top 3. Add 1 yellow with Vaccine and 1 yellow Tamer. Like, this is going to be one of the best searchers in our deck, you know, next to maybe physical training. But it also serves as a rookie for us, which is, you know, of course needed. And then when attacking inheritable once per turn, if there are 6 or fewer total cards in both security stacks, one of your opponents gets minus 2k for the turn, which can be kind of good with like your Rapidmons that also like to do the DP minusing shenanigans. So this kind of just adds on to it. It's got really good synergy with the deck. Now, probably our main rookie, of course, is going to be the Patamon from BT14. This is like your primary Vaccine Angel card. Start of your main phase, search your security stack. This Digimon may Digivolve into a yellow Digimon card with the Vaccine trait among them without paying the cost. So, of course, all of our level 4s that he can literally all the level 4s in the deck are Vaccine, so he can Digivolve into any of them, which is great. Then shuffle your security stack. If Digivolve by this effect, you may place 1 yellow card with the Vaccine trait from your hand at the bottom of your security stack. So you use that second part then to either, you can slot in a level 5 that you might need to go into next, or a level 6 if you want to put that in there. So say you're going to Evo a level 5 from hand, and then you can use your Emissary of Hope, of course, to then Evo from security again by using your Patamon. inheritable your turn once per turn. When a card is added to your security stat, gain memory. This is really powerful in this deck. So he just Evo for free, and then you put a card after the Evo is complete. You put a card in security, which means the inheritable is online. So he triggers his own effect to give you 1 memory right after you Evo for free. So really good value in that Patamon, and very, very powerful card. So yeah, he's going to be really solid for the deck. He's definitely going to be your go-to rookie. Now we are rocking the new BT16 Ukamon. This card's just good. Like, people just run this in everything because it's so good. Yes, it's a 1 Evo cost rookie, not ideal, but your turn once per turn, when one of your Digimon moves from the breeding area to the battle area, he sees himself, so if you promote him at a raising area, you get this effect. Keep that in mind. Reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 Digimon or Tamer card among them to your hand, return the rest to the bottom of the deck. You may hatch in your breeding area. So you don't even really have to worry about getting set multiple turns back, because you could immediately Evo a rookie in raising area and then be good to start, you know, on the very next turn. You don't have to wait 2 more turns before you can go into another rookie. So Ukamon, very powerful. You get a great search just off of promoting it at a raising area. And in theory, you could keep this on field, and just every time you promote moving forward, you know, you'll get that benefit. Be careful though, depending on the matchup you're in, because, you know, if they're able to kill off your Ukamons really easily, you might just swing with this and crash it. But that's more of that's a deeper cut, as it's not really part of the deck profile. So that's more of a strategy thing just in general. So just kind of keep that in mind. Same basic premise for stuff like this, for the Pillowmon, as well as like memory blockers, that sort of thing, is like, are you going to see more value of it like moving ahead, or do you think it's probably not going to last long enough to get that value? Then just go ahead and swing with it. So you just got to kind of debate that. So we've got the Pillowmon from BT9. All turns players can't play Digimon by effects. This is just a really good card right now. Going up into this format, right? For decks that are out there, right? New purple decks. There's Myotismon deck, and it does a lot of playing Digimon by effects. This turns that off if you come across that. Possibly the 2 best purple decks that we have in the meta for purple players are going to be either Leviamon, that likes to play Digimon by effects a lot, or Lugamon. Lugamon loves dark animals. You know, they love to play all their stuff for free as well. All the, you know, level 4s and whatnot that it does. So it's playing a lot of Digimon by effects. So we're kind of circumventing that a little bit. Even in against Magnamon, the Royal Knights Magnamon, when it would leave the field, it can play a Vmon from source or hand out. This would stop that as well. It's got a really good place in the format currently. So yeah, I think it's pretty much a really solid staple, kind of moving ahead. It also counters Royal Knights really well. Next set we get Demon Lords. I'm pretty sure this cancels out the Demon Lords as well. Same thing. So it's just a really good rookie staple card to have in all yellow decks for the next few sets. So just kind of roll with that. Now, if you don't like the Ukamon here, or you don't want to run the Tech Pillowmon, you could stick with this Patamon from Starter Deck 3, right? So your turn, once per turn, when an opponent's Digimon is deleted by dropping to 0 DP, gain 1 memory. This is good for, like, you know, your Rapidmon that's going to Evo and minus 5k on, you know, something that's suspended, preferably killing it. So then this big 4 Evo cost can get reduced down a little bit, make it a little bit more manageable. The Gold Vidramon we're going to talk to in a second, though, he does a minus 2000 DP as well. All turns, once per turn, when this Digimon becomes suspended, one of your opponent's Digimon and all of their security Digimon get minus 4k. So he's here to help mitigate these expensive level 4 Evo costs. Like, yeah, the ideal target is Patamon Evoing into them for free from the breeding or from the security area when you promote up. But, you know, of course, that doesn't always work out. So having a backup good rookie to Evo on top of this Patamon, you know, might suit your needs, just depending on your play style, which of these cards you prefer more. Clearly, you can see which ones I feel like are mandatory for the deck because they're both at 4 ofs. But yeah, you know, even if you want to drop the Kudamon down for whatever reason, if you want to do that, go for it. Because, yeah, I mean, these guys are still vaccine, though. So, like, I feel like being able to search out your vaccine cards is just way too powerful. That I don't know why people would want to, like, run, like, only one copy of this or 2 copies of it. Like, I feel like you want to run a lot. All right, moving into our level 4s. This is where we get into our armor core here, and we are not running the Magnamon core. We're going with the Rapidmon core, because specifically, like, if you look at Magnamon X here, his is just armor form in trait, so you're good. You can get his benefits, but specifically the Rapidmon X, you have to have a Rapidmon in source to get its effects. So any armor form works for Magnamon X, but only Rapidmons work for your Rapidmon X. So that's pretty much the primary reason that we're going with the Rapidmon lower end. So blocker, armor purge, your typical golden armor stuff here. All turns once per turn, we already said it. When this Digimon becomes suspended, minus 4k to all of their security Digimon. Like that's really, really powerful, and just one target as well. And then inheritables, while this Digimon is suspended, gets 1000 DP. We talked about this in our Rapidmon deck profile. But again, imagine the mirror match just being in full swing, right? You're going to want, it's going to end up being who's got the more inheritables giving the DP boosts like underneath your Rapidmons to clear each other. So it's a little bit trickier for this deck because we don't have as much green giving us these DP boosts. But to offset that, this deck is so much faster, and it can literally turbo into Rapidmon X on turn 2. Literally the turn you promote up out of raising area, you can go all the way up into a Rapidmon X, like really, really easily. So we have that up over the regular Rapidmons. And now in BT8, we're still running this Rapidmon. We got the Armor Purge here. No blocker, though, which is kind of odd. It's like probably, what, the only golden armor? No, I guess this one doesn't either. I was going to say the only golden armor without blocker. No. When Digivolving, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. For each tamer you have in play, keep that in mind as you as a player, but as well as your opponent as a player. It's up to 3 of your opponents get minus 5k, suspended Digimon get minus 5k. But the suspension effect is only however many tamers they have. So this is really good in this deck because we really like to slam down our TKs early on and get several of them in play. So you'll get really good value out of this Rapidmon for people that played it during the time. Yellow hybrid Setcon or even just regular Setcon. This was a staple card at one time. This, with this Patamon here, like that was pretty common because you know how Setcon loves their tamers. So yeah, it's a really good card when you have a nice yellow tamer heavy deck. Now for our extra level 4, we want to go with something that's still got armor form, right? And preferably we want to go with something yellow because we're going to be able to Digivolve on most of our rookies with it as well. And this one just got really solid synergy. There are other yellow armors, but you're really, really going to see the value here because when Digivolving, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2000 DP for the turn if you have a blue or yellow tamer in play, or if you have a card with armor form trait in your trash, which is very easy to have in this deck. One of your opponent's Digimon with 6000 DP or less can't attack or block until the end of your opponent's turn. So he's a nice flexible card. I want to quickly pull up the other armor forms though, the yellow ones specifically. There are other choices out there that you could drop in for this, like Submarimon, probably not the best one, but when Digivolving, trash the bottom Digivolution card of one of your opponent's Digimon, then one of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards gets minus 3000 DP for the turn. That's not great. Digmon's not bad. When attacking, one of your opponent's suspended Digimon gets minus 3000 DP for the turn, so then he can get over stuff, but he can only Evo on top of green. I did miss that. Same with the Submarimon. That's on top of blue. Let's see, we've got Nefertimon, which I never liked. When attacking, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2000 DP for the turn. I'd rather just get the gold Vidramon. It has 1 more 1000 DP. He gets the -2 on the when Digivolving, and then he also has the 6000 DP stun ability. Pegasusmon here, not terrible. When Digivolving, one of your opponent's Digimon gains security attack -1. Again, 5000 DP, so it's a little bit less. And then you'll notice our choices quickly kind of wear off here. You could, of course, run a Magnamon. Magnamons work as well. So you get plus 2000 DP for what, each card with armor forming trait. So not a bad choice as well. Just the DP minusing feels really good because we're doing a lot of that. So I don't know. It's preference. I would say ultimately, you want to run the Gold Digimon, run the Gold Digimon. If you want to run Magnamons, run Magnamons. I would probably between those two. You're not going to get good value out of this Magnamon because it's Vmon related. And wow, I guess the other one's not on here. Oh yeah, because he's black and blue, right? The new Magnamon out of the starter deck. Yeah, so you could do, yeah, we'll go ahead and add him in here as well. So Gold Digimon or Magnamon here. I guess it's just kind of your choice. He is a 4 Evo cost though, whereas Gold Digimon is only a 3 Evo cost. So choices. Now for our level 5 package, I went for a nice like spread here of a little bit of everything, all the good stuff. So we got the Magna Angemons for our recovery and the Blast Evo. 4 play cost, recover 1, not bad. And just giving that minus 1k to something, you know, pretty solid card. This card just feels stupid good to me. Even if you have to pay that overflow, like it's the same as an old Magna Angemon. So value there is really good. This Angelomon Ace from BT16, I like this card a lot. I played a Setcon variant where I used these two together, and this feels really good. So when on play or when Digivolving, by trashing the top card of your security stack, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 6,000 DP until the end of the turn. This is really powerful in conjunction with like a Blast Evo. You know, your opponent's attacking either into security or into whatever level 4 this is, and they're thinking they're going to clear it, and you're like, boom, Angelomon, minus 6k on that. You know, your 12,000 DP Digimon is now deleted because you just crashed into me because I'm at 7k and you're now at 6k, right? So really good stuff. And then all turns, once per turn, when a card is removed from security stack, if you have 3 or fewer security cards, recovery 1. Just a really cool ability. Like if you can keep her floating on the field, like whatever reason the opponent can't clear her, she just gives so much value, especially in a like a stall kind of deck like this is. You know, it's got a lot of blocker and things like that going on. So it can be difficult for the opponent to get in a whole bunch of security checks, right? So they typically have to like nickel and dime you like, you know, 1 or 2 a turn. So if you have something like this Angelomon Ace, it just makes them clearing you so much more difficult. So depending on your matchup, this Angelomon Ace can do a ton of work. Now, because this deck is such a control deck, right, and it can be a little slow, we got the Rise Greymon from BT2 in here. I really like this tech, honestly. So when Digivolving, you can play a yellow tamer from your hand without paying the cost. You don't get your on-play effects, so it's just kind of a bit of a bummer, but, you know, it's not the end of the world. Getting another body on field, and then it has the inheritable. While you have 3 or more yellow tamers in play, this Digimon gains security attack +1. Again, if you've played Vaccine Angels, you know how important getting multiple TKs in rotation is. So having 3 tamers, he even cheats 1 in play for you, is to get. So then, yeah, security attack +1. This is how we're going to be able to keep up. Like in the mirror match, how you're going to beat the mirror match is you Rise Greymon. You're going to have that extra security attack, and it's going to be super important. That'll either force your opponent to block in Armor Purge and lose out on, you know, whatever it is they're putting up against you, because they're wanting to do the same thing you're doing. But if you're like, oh, well, I can't let 2 security checks go through, I can't keep pace with that, I have to block, and then boom, now they're down a Digimon that they weren't before. So I think this Rise Greymon is going to be super powerful in the mirror match against the other armor decks. So that's why we're running it as a 2 of here. Now for our level 6s here, I just did a 3-3 split. It can go several different ways. You could do a 4-2 split. You could do like a 3-2 split and then throw in like a level 7, which we'll talk about here in just a minute. Like it gets a little flexible here. Just kind of depends on what you want to do. Again, though, remember our Rapidmon X can Evo on top of our level 4 Rapidmons, but our Magnamon X here is pretty much going to be locked into just Evoing on top of level 5s, except when we have the our option card that lets us bypass that. So We've got Rapidmon X here, Armor Purge. Evo costs a 4 on top of your Rapidmons or 3 on top of your level 5s. When Digivolving, suspend all of your opponent's Digimon, then this Digimon may attack. So it's basically like Blitz right afterwards. So you suspend everything, then you can choose to swing over something if you want, or you can just go right past it and go for security. All turns when, while Rapidmon or X Antibody is in this Digimon distribution cards, all of your opponent's suspended Digimon get minus 4,000 DP for the turn. So they have to be very careful about having anything suspended, because the second something becomes suspended, it minus 4K. So yeah, that can be a very powerful card, especially if you get 2 Rapidmon X's in play. Then all their stuff starts to getting that minus 8K. That's almost impossible to play around at that point. They have to find a way to remove a Rapidmon X almost without having any Digimon at times. So it can be tricky. And then all turns, once per turn, when an opponent's Digimon is deleted in battle or by having 0 TB, gain 2 memory. So also really powerful for that when Digivolving effect. So you can suspend something and then essentially immediately swing over it. Even if the turn has passed, you paid so much memory that you pass turn to your opponent, they're at 2, and then you just killed whatever that was by battle. You just gain 2 memory back, keeping turn. So really, really strong card. And then, of course, we had the big Mac Daddy of BT16, Magnamon X. Blocker, Armor Purge. Can Evo on top of any Magnamon for 5 Evo costs. We're not running any unless you want to run that over the Gold Vidramon. 4 Evo costs on top of our other level 5. So he's a bit more expensive than the Rapidmon X, but he is a bit more powerful because when Digivolving, if Magnamon X or a card with Armor Form trait is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, this Digimon isn't affected by your opponent's effects and gets plus 3,000 DP until the end of your opponent's turn. Then unsuspend this Digimon. Man, so much to unpack here. There's so much you can do with this card. It's unreal. You can swing with like one of your level 4 armors, right? And then Evo into this guy with your like awakening. He'll immediately unsuspend, or so then you go into him. You could play something like a blinding ray, and then you'll trash your own security. You can unsuspend, swing again if you want, and then he's got the all turns once per turn. When a card is removed from a security stack, you may activate one of this Digimon's when Digivolving effects. So then you check that security, and then it's just golly, there's just so much going on here. So yeah, he's a really powerful card either way. So he's free type, but most importantly, he has a vaccine as well. So that's why he's going to synergize a lot with this. So this card's going to be very difficult to counter, and the fact that you can run both Rapidmon X and Magnamon X in the same deck very, very easily is very scary because these cards are both super good, and to counter them kind of takes different strategies. So finding a way to counter both in a single deck, it's going to be tricky. All right. Now, if you don't want to run 3 and 3, or you want to kind of flex some stuff out, of course, there's you can always put in a Death X, just a simple staple card here. Just on play, Digivolve 1. You can reduce his play cost by 1 cost by 3 for each Digimon and Tamer your opponent has in play, of course. At the end of your opponent's turn, you delete all your opponent's Digimon with the lowest play cost. Just, he's a real hard card to get rid of, especially in something like in a format like this where there's all these cards that, okay, you're not affected by my Death X for your Magnamon X for whatever reason, right? But everything else is. And I'm a 15k body. You're a 15k body. Like, if you want to block me, so be it. We'll both crash together. Whatever the case may be. So, really interesting card. And then also the Shine Greymon Ruin mode. This is good for a yellow deck. You can Evo this guy for 5 on top of either of your level 6s here. And then when Digivolving and on deletion until the end of your opponent's turn, all of your opponent's Digimon get minus 5,000 DP for the turn. And then he is a vaccine type as well, just FYI, so you can use your Emissary of Hope to Evo into this guy for free. And then end of attack, delete this Digimon and one of your opponent's Digimon and recover 1. Then, if you have a Tamer in play, hatch 1 Digi-egg to an empty space in your breeding area. So really powerful, just like blanket effect there. Minus 5,000 DP is super strong, but if you can Evo into this guy and swing in the same turn and do a minus 10k to your opponent's whole field, that's super good. Especially against armors, because armors do not do well with DP minus. So if they've got like multiple Rapid Mons or Vidramons or the old Magnamon in play, right? Even if they've got DP boosts going on, usually at the start of their turn, all those go away, and that minus 10k will kill them instantly. So really, really strong card, really interesting tech at a 1-of if you want to go that route. I don't know if I necessarily want either of these guys in the deck. I don't really want to Digivolve. First of all, I don't want to Digivolve Ruin Mode on top of either of my level 6s. Like, I feel like they're really strong, and Evoing on top of them just feels like it would set me back more than it would help, potentially. Again, it's a 1-of. It's for like very niche scenarios. Say you're playing against, I don't know, D Brigade, and they've got like 10 bodies on field, and you're like, okay, I can block like 2, right? And 1, and then a second one goes through and checks the security, I unsuspend, I get to block a second time, right? With my Magnamon X's here. If you've got a Rapid Mon X, and you can get that minus 4,000 DP for the turn, that helps a ton. But if you don't, and you have a Ruin Mode, and you go Ruin Mode on top of Magnamon X, there's value there in that, so... yeah, moving on. So Tamers here, of course, we're running the BT16 TK. I did have this at a 3-of at first, but I was like, man, just being able to play this turn 1 is one of the best feelings in Vaccine Angels. So I absolutely expected to do the same here. On play, by returning the top card of your security stack to your hand, you may place 1 yellow card with a vaccine trait from your hand at the bottom of your security stack. Basically, he sets up for your Patamon. Your Patamon promotes up at a raising area on turn 2. You've already set your security stack to have exactly what you need for Patamon to Evo into for free. And then your turn, when a card is added to your security stack, by suspending his Tamer, gain 1. He works off of his own effect. So you take a card, you put a card, you suspend him. He's a 3-drop. Now he's a 2-drop. Your opponent's going at 2. You've got a TK in play. You've got the security already set up for the free Evo. Like, this card is stupid good. And just being able to keep playing these, like, you don't even mind, right? So you can just, like, turn 2, I play another TK. I suspend both my TKs now, so now it's only a 1-drop TK. And then all the ones after that are free. So, yeah, you don't mind playing a bunch of TKs because they progressively get cheaper and cheaper for themselves. We are still rocking a little bit of the BT1. We are running, all yellow cards here, so it's very easy to hit off of this. Anyone that's played yellow-purple setcon or yellow-red setcon and hit all security of another color feels real bad. Because on play, look at your security stack, reveal 1 card, and add it to your hand. If it was yellow, trigger recovery 1. But the issue is you have to add something, and if it's all not yellow, you just take a card, and you're 1 less security now. So with this, we don't mind that, as well as, of course, it helps us set up, because we get that blind recovery, which can be really beneficial. Also, we can take out like really important cards that we don't want to be in security, or at least not in security at that time. So yeah, he's a really cool fit for this, as well as, he's a yellow memory fixer, which is a big reason we want to run him. I got 3 Emissaries of Hope. This is another one I wanted at 4-of, but I decided 3-of was probably okay enough. 1 play cost, search your security stack. One of your Digimon may Digivolve into 1 yellow level 6 or lower Digimon card. I think I did say that earlier. Ruin Mode cannot Digivolve into this. Sorry, I did completely forget about the level 6 restriction. You cannot use Emissary to go into Ruin Mode. But yeah, so with the vaccine trait among them without paying the cost. So 1 play cost option, you get an Evo for free out of your security, which is really, really great when you're going into like your level 6s, especially your Magnamon X. That's normally a really expensive Evo cost. And this is just like, yeah, no, it's 1 Evo cost now, the cost of my card. If Digivolve by this effect and you have a Tamer or TK in its name, recover 1, which is going to be really important. Again, why you want to have a little bit more TKs is because you're going to be wanting to use your Emissary of Hopes like ASAP to get up into your megas, and you need your TK in play there. And then security, you may play a Patamon from your hand or trash without paying the cost, then add this card to your hand, so you don't even lose out of it. You get a body and you get this card to hand. Like, there's VMon cards out there that aren't even this good. They're like, yeah, you play a VMon and then this card goes away. Like, that's it. But this goes to hand also, and you get a Patamon in play. From trash even. So hand or trash, the flexibility there is so good. So then we've got Awakening of the Golden Knight. I've got 3 of this in here. I've seen the ratios on this all over the place. I've seen literally 1 to 4 copies. I saw one deck profile in JP format that was running 4 of this. Absolutely not. I refuse. But this is basically your only way to get Magnamon X to Evo on top of your level 4s. So while you have a Digimon with Armor Form and Trait, you can use it without meeting color requirements. Not important. We're yellow deck anyway. Main, you may Digivolve one of your Digimon with Armor Form in its trait into a Digimon card with Magnamon in its name in your hand, ignoring its Digivolution requirements and without paying its memory cost. The Digimon that Digivolved with this effect can't have its DP reduced by your opponent's effects until the end of your opponent's turn. That DP is also really important, so not only does this allow us to get into our Magnamon X a lot better, a lot cheaper, all that fun stuff, but also has the DP reduction prevention, because one of the best removal cards in the game moving forward is going to be Heaven's Judgment, because now we have all these duo color decks and literally a trio color Digimon now. A card like Heaven's Judgment is going to be even more powerful, and it's one of the best removals that you can run in any of the 3 different armor decks. So any 3 of the armor decks, you're going to run Heaven's Judgment. So we expect to see 80% of the meta in tournaments being one of these 3 decks, right? I'm calling it now. These 3 decks are gonna be everywhere, and these are really good to go in it. So to counter them again in the mirror match, that sort of thing, whatever one, this one or Sparkling Destiny, like that one works for Rapidmon. You're gonna want to run these guys to prevent that DP minus from going off and you losing your big body as soon as you bring it out. Security, return one of your Magnamon in its name from your trash to your hand, add this card to your hand. So then on following turns, of course, if you mid to late game, you can cycle them back, which is also really nice. Little bit of synergy there that you can do. So very, very pivotal for your Magnamon X. That's kind of the only reason we can get away with running him in the deck. Without this, less so. You notice we're not running the Rapidmon option card because you don't really need it. One, he can Digivolve for 4 on top of a Rapidmon anyways, because we're running them in the deck, and then his 3 Evo cost on top of level 5 isn't that bad either. It's a lot more manageable than our Magnamon X's here. Again, there's no other Magnamons in name in the deck other than himself, so yeah, you really need a way to get around that. And then we're just kind of filling off the rest of the deck. We do have the Heaven's Judgment next, which we already talked about. 7 play cost. If you have a green Digimon or Tamer in play, use this without meeting color requirements. Not important. Activate the effect below for each of the color you have activated again. So even if you have no Digimon in play, you play this card, minus 6,000 DP on something. All right, you instantly get this effect, and then for every color you have, you get to do it again. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 colors. Right? I'm not forgetting any there. Yeah, 4 colors in this deck. If you want to run either of these guys, you can add purple into the mix. That's 5. That's a lot of Heaven's Judgment effects that you can get off. But typically, you want to play this when you have your Megas on field with your 2 colors. Even your level 4s, it can work out. But a single Magnamon X in play with a Heaven's Judgment, that's minus 24,000. Because it's minus the 6 and then 3 more times because of your tricolor. Really powerful card. You can see why we're running it. It's great for killing one big thing, or it's great for killing a bunch of little things. It's a super flexible card in a deck like this, so absolutely you're gonna run it. And then just rounding out the deck, I've got 2 physical trainings in here. You could run the yellow memory boost if you want. I really like the physical trainings in here though, because our armors are big Evo cost, right? We're not Evoing mid attack or anything like that, so your physical trainings are gonna be a lot easier to get the value out of than I think the memory boosts are. Yeah, you're digging not quite as deep, but because it's the way it is, you can grab your options. So your 2 of Heaven's Judgment, right? Your Emissary of Hopes. These cards are super powerful in this deck. Your TKs. If you don't have any TKs in play, you want to be able to add a TK off of a search. So your physical training here They're a great flexible card. Yes, you have your Kudamons for your search for your Tamers and your Digimon, but your options are very powerful and very important in this deck. Between the Awakening and the Emissary both, even your removal option, all three of these cards can be really good. We have no way to search these guys out of the deck except for physical training, so I've got at least 2 copies in here just for the flexibility of it. The only thing you got to worry about is hitting an Ukamon, I guess, but revealing one Ukamon isn't the end of the world. If you bottom deck an Ukamon, you'll be okay. But if you bottom deck, say, an Emissary of Hope or an Awakening of the Golden Knight, or even a Heaven's Judgment, you might not be okay. So I'd rather run the physical trainings than the yellow memory boost. I know this was a long video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, please put it in the comment section below. I'll definitely get to you guys and answer you when I can. Try to answer like same day as often as I can. Thanks so much for watching. If you listen to me ramble for 30 minutes and you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe. Get us to that 5K. Really looking forward to it. And then, yeah, stay tuned for our next video.